Hello, welcome to Magic Circles in the Sky and today's episode. Some longings are not vanity. They are a call from a part of us that has been unseen, unvalued, or denied. Today we step into the red shoes, a story about desire, self-worth, and what happens when longing is misunderstood and becomes a curse. Some longings remain quiet, desperate calls, a part of us that has been hidden deep down within. The girl who grew up with scarcity, a pair of red shoes, became more than beauty. They became proof that she might be worthy, that she might matter, that she might finally be someone. But when desire is punished instead of understood, it can take over, turning joy into compulsion, longing into a dance we cannot stop. Today we step into the red shoes, not as a tale of vanity, but as a story of longing, worth, and what happens when our deepest desires are finally seen and we're no longer, or they're no longer invisible. What is desire? And what does it refer to? Desire is like a strong longing, wish, or craving for something, or it can be someone. And in fairy tales, why this matters. They provide timeless moral framework, foster imagination, and offer emotional coping mechanisms for navigating complex realities. Andersen's fairy tales were originally written for adults. The hidden wisdom inside stories, psychological growth and transformation, resilience and morality, the power of the archetypes, like the matriarch, the heroism, and the orphan that portrays a bit of who Karen is in this story and turning wisdom from nonsense into wisdom. Some fairy tales are not really about children at all. They are mirrors of our human soul. The shoemaker and the red shoes. What happens when a kind shoemaker gives Karen, the girl, a pair of red shoes? He had given her a pair of red shoes before. They were made of cloth. But her adopted mother, who was a God-fearing woman, threw those shoes out. Something to be ashamed of, a disgrace. Can you imagine how she felt? Those were the most valuable things in the world for her, coming from a place of poverty. And she threw them out. What do you think that did to her self-worth? So the shoemaker makes her another pair of shoes, red shoes, made out of leather. Karen's poverty and scarcity of not having her needs met made her go in search of an identity, even if it was superficial on the outside, with a pair of shoes. The emotional meaning of the shoes lead to her destructive passion in a way. The shoes symbolize an intense addictive desire, symbol of power. Historically, they represent high status, authority, and the ability to command attention, loss of agency, while appearing to offer empowerment, and the red shoes often turn the wearer into the puppet of their own desires because the power of those shoes, as we see later on, take over her life. The human desire to feel beautiful, seen, and valued. Yes, because being beautiful and having beautiful possession is considered self-worth. In search of an identity that would make herself feel special, just like the princess she once saw with the red shoes. She thought the red shoes made the princess special, but that wasn't the case. The turning point, the soldier that she meets along the way wearing these shoes. He casts a spell on her shoes. He says those are dancing shoes. And so as she as he casts a spell on those shoes, she cannot stop dancing. When desire becomes compulsion, she loses control because of the spell, not because she was out control. It was the spell that did it. Desire becomes compulsion through repeated habitual indulgence that strengthens neutral pathways during voluntary pleasure seeking into involuntary, irresistible urge. Temptation must come, but the jewel in the crown of that temptation is the ability for restraint and to resist going too far into compulsive behavior. Shame and misunderstanding distort longing by turning a natural desire for connection into a source of fear, causing individuals to hide in shame, suppress, or devalue their needs. The moment the shoes begin to control the dancer, this is when Karen loses control. And she lost that control when the spell was cast on those shoes. Later on in the story, you have the transition where the angel comes to Karen's house and turns it into a sanctuary of peace and church where she can ask for forgiveness, ask for redemption, which she does. The loss of control. As soon as the spell was put on those shoes, she didn't have the strength to fight it. And the deeper cost of living through the external approval weighs her down. The angel's appearance offers her forgiveness, it offers her peace, it offers her the joy that she once had before she became addicted and compulsive actions with the shoes. She returns to the dignity of her life. The angel does that while she's praying, while that she is sitting there in the light. She's no longer in the darkness anymore. And the self-worth that she depended on with the shoes no longer seem that important. So I'd like to ask you as we close, where are you still dancing to earn approval? What are you still doing? How are you overextending yourself to gain someone's or an institute's approval? What red shoes once promised your belonging? Was it a group of people? Was it buying a particular outfit? Was it having something superficial that made you feel as though you belonged, wearing the same clothes as everybody else? I fit in, I'm part of the community. And what might it mean to finally take those things off and just stand in the dignity of who you are? Thank you for listening. And thank you for listening to Magic Circles in the Sky. I'll close with a brief quote. Healing is a lifelong lesson, blessing, and gift we give ourselves, mind, body, and soul. Healing is a lifelong lesson, blessing, and gift we give ourselves, mind, body, and soul. Goodbye, and